Hello, this is Kenny. On this lesson, I want to introduce you to pedals and pedaling. We are going to focus on only the right-hand pedal. I will describe the other two in a little bit more detail later at the end of this lesson, but I just want to introduce the most important of all pedals, the sustain pedal. I am using an electric piano, so I'm also using an electric pedal. And this is it. All it really is an electric switch. Okay? It just switches. It's just, you push it down and it makes a connection and it holds the notes. And that's the whole idea with the sustain pedal. If you're using an electric piano, some of them have one built in. This one just plugs in, and they're fairly cheap, about $20, but they're fairly durable. I've been using this a lot of years. Okay? But if you look next to me over there, there's some beautiful pedals. That's pedals from a grand piano. All right, now those are much better than this, and I hope you have a grand piano. I wish I did too, because pedals can be very much more complicated than what I'm going to get into. We're just going to focus on the sustaining stuff. Okay, on to the rest of the lesson. I will put the pedal down. Now I have the pedal on the floor where it should be. I didn't need to put it on the keyboard. I just wanted to show you what it was looking like. As I said, it is a sustain pedal, and it holds things. As simple as this, all right? Okay, I can hold these without the pedal, but I can also hold them with the pedal, and I don't have to have my fingers on them anymore. You might see I'm using something slightly different. The middle keyboard is not a real keyboard. That's a MIDI keyboard. It's actually a MIDI representation of my actual piano. I'm only using it better to show you. See, if I move the pedal up and down, it's turning blue and not blue. When it's blue, it just means it's down. I wanted to film my foot, but it looked ridiculous. You didn't want to see that. Okay, so I'm using this MIDI thing. I will get into MIDI. It's very, very useful technology, but it's not beyond this. It's a whole lesson, in many lessons actually in itself, but it just makes it easier to show the pedaling. What I also want to use here, okay, in lesson 5 I wrote this little waltz, and I just want to show you how it is notated, if you see on a score, when to put the pedal down. Alright, so if you look over here, alright, right here on the first 3 notes of the waltz, I'm not using the pedal there at all, okay? But there's a little thing there. It says PED with a little line there. So it means put the pedal down. See, that's all sustained. Better here. And there's many ways to do it. This one has PED and it's got a line there, okay? This one here, it kind of goes PED and there's a really weird shaped thing here, sort of a starry thing. Alright, it means the same thing, and sometimes all they do is just put a little bracket under there, that's just assuming that you're just pedaling. Okay, so without pedaling, I can do this nicely. But with pedaling, it sounds a little smoother. Okay, and sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. If you want the staccato, you certainly don't want to pedal, but you do want to pedal when you want it smoother, and smoother between chords, for example. That's when it's used more often, and this is where it gets a little tricky to learn it, but it's really not that hard. You just want to change the pedal when you change chords. So if I'm going from C to G, it just makes it much smoother. So what you really want to do is hold the pedal down, and as soon as you hit the next chord, just up and down really quickly. Alright, it's actually very simple, and you get used to it really quick. It becomes second nature, and you don't even think about it. A couple other reasons you may want to use a pedal is, well, for smoothness. Like if you want a nice smooth line. It really helps smooth things out. All right, another reason you might really want to pedal, you won't see all my hands on here because I don't have my camera up high enough right now, and I'm going to work on that. But if you have big chords, all right, and you can't fit them all, you can't play it all at once, but you can do this. And all those sounds are out there because I'm holding that pedal down, all right? You couldn't do that properly without using the pedal, all right? All right, it's not really cheating. The piano is, the pedal is a part of the piano. Pedal, that's our tongue twister there. The pedal is part of the piano. Okay, all right? And sometimes in really weird modern music, it's used for weird effects like... Alright, it can be used for multiple effects and many other reasons, okay? I'll just tell you a little thing about pedaling, alright? Because some people are purists, alright? The pedal was not part of the piano until about the 1800s, early 1800s. Before then, you had Bach and stuff, you know, and he would just be... It's single lines, and people do use the pedal for Bach and stuff. But you don't really need to. It's your personal preference. Some pianists do, some don't. But some purists will say, no, you can't use pedal on Bach because Bach didn't have a pedal. All right, and it does sound kind of weird if you... and a little less clear than... But that's up to you. But right now, the main thing I want you to know is just use the pedals for holding chords. And like anything in piano, any instrument, just practice it. Go very slowly. Just practice it with one chord. And then another chord. And yes, you can lift your hands up. That's what the pedal does. Just remember, lift up the pedal as soon as you hit the next chord and put it right back down again. And it makes it really smooth. Okay, I did want to mention the other two pedals that you'll see on a grand piano and an upright piano. The left-hand one, which I do not have, is really not necessary on an electric piano because all it does is it softens things. On an acoustic piano, it actually puts the damper against the strings to actually quiet the whole strings down, which is very useful. But with an electric piano, you really don't need such a thing because all you do is you go to your trusty little volume switch and turn it down. So, you know, most electric pianos are not built with a volume pedal. I guess some might be, but for the most part, no. And the middle pedal is something, I will tell you, on most upright pianos, they're just there for show if they're there at all. If on a grand piano, most of them will work, but very few pieces ever require them. Very few people ever use it. And all it really does is it sustains. It's like a sustain pedal. It's like a half a sustain pedal. It means you can sustain your lower notes, and then it doesn't sustain the top ones. I can't demonstrate it on this one very properly. It will not sustain the top ones, but what it really means is you could put a chord down in your left hand, really low bass, and then do stuff with your right hand and use your other pedal at the same time for sustaining purposes. So don't even worry about that middle pedal. It is so rarely used, we won't see it. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying. A pedal is just for sustaining notes. And that is why it is called the sustain pedal. Thank you very much.